Adam Seen was popping, I know a little something. In the 80s, we speak of Supreme Team. We speak about Supreme Magnetic from Fort Greene and we speak about different crews, Mob Style, the Young Guns from by St. Nick Projects, Hill Ho Crew, Purple City, Obsession Crew. Then you had a crew that was getting a lot of money in Brooklyn, up the hill, Brownsville. Bergen, Dean, Saratoga. Those that's familiar with Ocean Hill, Brownsville, you know, down the block from Kingsborough Houses, Ralph Avenue, which is Crown Heights. This is Testy Waters. Definitely rest in peace to Buff from the block. Shout out to my man Gotti. Shout out to my man Brooklyn Ice. They got the liquor store on Eastern Parkway now, Brooklyn Ice. He got the weed. He got you know, he got the store. So this is family, a lot familiar. I've been on the block. Big Dice is in the building, man. This is not a slandered situation. I did say a couple of days ago that I was going to do a show on Quaterfield because his name being bells in a lot of main conversations, and I've come across an article in the New York newspaper, a popular one, Newsday. He had a situation with the Wild Punch, Donnie Smallwood. Shout out to Brooklyn, shout out to Up the Hill. Some of y'all may know Up the Hill as MOP, Masked Out Posse. Shout out to everybody on St. Mark's and all that, you heard? This ain't no slander against nobody. Nuke name may come up in this news article that I'm reading. I'm gonna say allegedly because even though it's one of the top newspapers in the country, which is Newsday, not Newsday, but I'm gonna tell you the newspaper, the New York Times, one of the top newspapers in the country. I'm gonna still say allegedly because his name is all in this. Now, the first time I ever heard about Nuke was I read a book. I believe it was Cop Shot. One of those books that they was mentioning his name. He was cool with Viola Nichols. I can't recall the book, but it was the book I read. It's the first time I ever heard of Nuke's name. But it seems to be that when I got around my crowd, Nuke was a popular individual. OG Nuke. You may have seen him on Queen's Flip. He was in the loop with the whole Donnie Smallwood situation, BET, y'all can check all that out, you know what I'm saying? Quaterfield name always came up amongst my foes because he was the bad guy. Him and the guy named Green Eye Shy and a couple other guys, they was a little more different. We're talking about the era, 86, 85, 86, 87, 88. The years, like, because you know, when we speak about Ponce the Bag, we always say Brooklyn cats was stick-up kids, right? But these dudes was getting to the bag in Ocean Hill, Brownsville. Saratoga Dean, y'all know this, St. Mark's, Saratoga. A group of African Americans that was getting some money up the hill. You got Ocean Hill, Brownsville, and then you have Brownsville. Then you got Crown Heights before. So definitely shout out to Big Dice, Crown Heights, Kingsborough Projects. You know what I'm saying? Everything the third walk, you heard? Shout out for Queen's Flip because he showed love to everybody. And he always showed love to OG Nuke. Check out those platforms. Now, there's some situations that happen where Rudy Lowe may have said some things about Nuke, about something in jail. Shout out to Rudy Lowe, Double L's Up, Low Lives. Then you have other stories where you have Bandito. Another guy mentioned him last night, another individual named Divine. He a Brooklyn cat, I don't know where he's from in Brooklyn, but he mentioned his name. But I said this a couple of weeks ago in the Streets of Washington series that I'm gonna do something on Quaterfield. So I did mention that. Shout out to the Wild Bunch. Rest in peace, Donnie Smallwood. This may be sensitive for some of y'all. Like I told you, the first time I ever heard about Nuke was in the book. Not saying he was a nobody nigga, because he was somebody. He was a somebody individual. The first time I ever heard of him was in the book. Yeah, I guess he was cool with Viola, Nichols, and he was at the club, at the Linkwood, or some type of club. Can't recall the book. It was a cop shot or one of those books that he mentioned his name. But the streets definitely know who he is. Now, this is from the New York Times. Like I said, I am going to say this is 1987, November 15th, from Ron Rosenbaum. On February 15th, this magazine, it's from the New York Times Magazine, which is the New York Times. You could Google this, is one of the top rated newspapers in the country. They had their issues or pages or whatever the case may be, but they're one of the top newspapers. It goes on February 15th, this magazine published my article, Crack Murder, the story of a veteran homicide detective, Albie E. Catchy, and his investigation of the killing of a Brooklyn crack dealer, James Baker, better known as Quaterfield. Baker had been found dead in the passenger seat of his Mercedes-Benz with a bullet wound in his chest and 4 others from another gun in their head and neck. At the request of the police, so as not to jeopardize the investigation, I gave Baker the fictional name of Halfback in the article. As the story went to press, Catchy and his partner on the case, Detective Donald Guaghi, had developed leads to the motive for the slaying, 2 bitter feuds. Baker was conducting one with a drug supplier, another with a man believed to be a rival crack tycoon, Donnie Smallwood, Eddie Holmes, in the original article. On March 26th, the Brooklyn District Attorney Office and Brooklyn's North Detective Command formed a joint task force to pursue the investigation of 11 murders they suspected were linked to Donnie Smallwood and the crew he headed, the Wild Bunch. The task force, headed by Deputy Inspector Charles R. Prestia of Brooklyn North, took over the investigation of the James Baker murder from Detective Catchy, who was based in Brooklyn South. The additional manpower produced results. A Brooklyn grand jury has indicted Smallwood and 7 members of the Wild Bunch for 7 murders. 2 of those men was charged with the murder of James Baker. One of them was Smallwood's godson, 19-year-old Anthony Jennings, whose street name is Nuke TNT in the original article. Smallwood, Jennings, and all those indicted have pleaded not guilty to all charges. The information turned up by the investigation in the Wild Bunch now makes it possible to paint a more complete picture of the deadly struggle for supremacy within the Brooklyn crack dealing underworld that police say led to Baker's murder. The story that follows it, must be stressed, is a police officer and prosecutor's version of events, of a version the accused and the attorneys vigorously deny. It is a story of culture of casual violence that crack, the highly addictive cocaine derivative, have produced. Violence, according to many detectives, that have contributed to a 10% rise in the city's murder rate in the last 2 years. And it's a story of a godfather and his grandson. Among the many folk tales they tell about the alleged crack czar Donnie Smallwood is the one about the stroke of a luck that got him a stake in the drug business. The way one resident of the Hill, the blighted Brownsville neighborhood that is Smallwood's home turf, described it to me. One day Donnie hit the number. He won $60,000 on a $100 bet. You know what I'm saying? But the story goes when he came to collect the numbers operated, a reputed organized crime figure didn't have the cash for the payoff, so he and Smallwood made a deal. Instead of cash, he paid all Smallwood in heroin. Smallwood proceeded to build an empire on that windfall, shrewdly shifting to follow the fashion from heroin to cocaine and finally to crack. He wound up, according to police, with a major league crack-selling ring commanding a fleet of beeper-connected carriers who shuttled drugs and money among a number of 24-hour crack-selling locations. Two things distinguish Donnie Smallwood from the run-of-the-mill crack kingpin, according to detectives. First, he had a fairly sophisticated system for laundering his profits, using paper corporations to ship them out of state and shelter them under different names. And second, he didn't hide his existence in the shadows, but boldly made himself a public figure in the community, a provider of parties, dispenser of largeness, something like a Tammany ward boss or an old-fashioned mafia don, a folk hero. He has become somewhat of a folk hero to certain people, concedes Deputy Inspector Prestia, who made the decision to make Smallwood and the Wild Bush the target of a full-scale task force attack. The problem with a guy like Donnie Smallwood is that he becomes a symbol for the youth in the Brownsville area. Prestia told me in his Brooklyn North homicide office as if this is the way to achieve success. That's how it was. And think about this. It was oppression in New York, a recession in New York. Minimum wage was like $4 or $5. So the block, you made more money on the streets, no matter what corner you was on, than you actually made working in 9 to 5. They seen him with his big cars and his diamond pinky ring, his gold jewelry, throwing money around. They see him as some kind of role model to emulate. In addition to that, Donnie Smallwood is particularly insidious in that he sponsors a softball team. So he actually likes softball. He actually sponsors a softball team. He sponsors picnics, outings, and dances. He buys tickets to shows. See to our understanding, Smallwood would take them and buy them gold jewelry, says Detective Sergeant Frank Shields, one of the supervisors of the task force. Kids would tell us, yeah, Donnie told me if I worked for him, he would buy me some gold. If you really did well and you really moved up the line, he would buy you a car. That's how much money it was. Dudes was wearing big chains. Back then, big chains. Your boss bought you a chain, a beeper. Those things was what was buying your loyalty. You know what I'm saying? So that was the factor that ever. A beeper, a nice gold chain, and if you moved up in the ranks, you got a car. Things that when you was young, that was a lot, because you came from nothing. He makes it difficult for these kids growing up to get out of the crime cycle, says Prestia. One of Donnie Smallwood's problems was that certain of the people he recruited as proteges was not satisfied with getting gold and cars from him. They were more ambitious. They wanted to be him. They wanted to be the king of the hill. The hill is Ocean Hill, Brownsville. You know what I'm saying? James Baker was one of those people. Baker had been a protege of Donnie Smallwood, then a sometime partner, and by last fall he became, at 24, a full-time problem. He was, according to police, more flamboyant and charismatic than the rather laid-back godfather of the hill, more ambitious and reckless, scarier too. There's a lot of people who were afraid of James Baker, said Sergeant Shields. A lot of people who weren't afraid of Donald Smallwood were more afraid of Baker. He was just a tough piece of work, and if he felt like he wanted to take something over, he would take it over. He wouldn't fear anybody. By last year, it became clear Baker wanted to take over the crack dealing empire allegedly run by Smallwood. And from the way he went about it, it seemed clear he didn't merely want to take Smallwood's customers and personal. He wanted to take Smallwood's personality, humiliate him, destroy his reputation, destroy his public legend, and become the king of Ocean Hill, Brownsville. By some accounts, Baker tried to make it a man-to-man duel between him and Smallwood. He opened up a crack center location on the same block as one of Smallwood's and refused to pay tribute for operating on the Don's turf. He went around openly boasting that he stolen money from Smallwood. He went around openly boasting that he'd slept with Smallwood's girlfriend. Still, Donnie Smallwood didn't move on him. There was those who said Smallwood at 36 was thinking of retiring from the game, didn't want trouble for a time. Indeed, there seemed to be some type of kind of reconciliation, reconciliation. They became allies again, family. Baker drove Smallwood's 6-year-old son to school every day. This is weird. And then one day the boy didn't come home. He'd been abducted. A call came into Smallwood's headquarters demanding a $50,000 ransom. The child was returned, and shortly thereafter, people on the street noticed Baker walking around with a lot of money. Dirty game. It's a dirty game. You understand what I'm saying? He takes your son to school. The son will go to school one day. There's a ransom. You pay the $50,000. So not just Rich Porter brother got snatched up. A bunch of other dudes in the era was getting snatched up. Peoples was getting snatched. Shout out to Brooklyn, you heard me? The talk on the street was Baker was behind the kidnapping, and that was Baker's Quaterfield. Look at Google Quaterfield. Quaterfield from Ocean Hill, Brownsville. Call your uncles, the crackhead aunts and all that. They go, your auntie was popping. You're the Quaterfield. Yeah, when I first started smoking, he at the block. He was on the block. Call Ocean Hill, Brownsville. You can call auntie. Auntie know about who Quaterfield is. You know what I'm saying? The talk on the street was Baker was behind the kidnapping that Smallwood knew and had put out a contract on him. Baker didn't let that bother him. He just stepped up the pressure looking to provoke Donnie Smallwood into a man-to-man confrontation. Finally, he got it. Sergeant Shields heard the story this way. There was a shoot-up in one of Donnie's stores. Shootout. You know what I'm saying? Donnie accused Baker of it, and he put out word on the street that he was looking for him. Then Baker walked in on Donnie and pulled on a 9mm and said, I hear you looking for me. Made Donnie open his mouth and put the gun in it. Whoa, he crossed the Brooklyn line. That provocation, sticking the gun in his mouth of the King of the Hill, may have been a mistake, or perhaps Baker's mistake was not in pulling the trigger. Salute. Detective, now that I told you, I know some people that was amongst this circle. Shout out to Brooklyn Ice. They didn't tell me to do this. I just know y'all know the history. Rest in peace to Buff. Y'all know. Salute to Gotti, Dean, Saratoga, Bergen, Saratoga, St. Mark's, Saratoga, up the hill. There's other blocks too, you know what I'm saying? MOP, Mashed Out Posse, up the hill, Brownsville. You heard? Detective Shields and Edward Croissant, the supervisor of the task force, had followed James Baker's career for several years, and they were aware of the deadly feud with him and Smallwood, which is Donnie. In fact, Shields and a fellow homicide detective, Gerald Holly, had developed a relationship with Baker. Shields and Holly investigated murders, not drugs. Baker kept them appraised of what was happening in the hill. Now this is crazy. So basically this cop is saying that Quaterfield was tipping them off about certain crimes. This is crazy. This is a cop saying this to the New York Times. He said, this is what he said. had developed, Gerald Holly had developed a relationship with Baker Shields, and Holly investigated murders, not drugs. So basically, the relationship that Quaterfield created with Holly, Holly wasn't for drugs, he was for bodies. Baker kept them apprised of what was happening on the hill. He would never say, so and so did this or so and so did that, say Shields, but he would just let us know more or less what was going down on the street. So he won't give a name, but he basically put him on the game. You know what I'm saying? Such and such. I can't give you a name, but you know what time it is. It's a war with the blue tops versus yellow tops. You know what I'm saying? You know, so he won't give no names. He would never say so and so did this or that, but he would just let you know more or less what was going on down the street. That this is going to be a problem, or there's a problem. He wasn't an informant by no means. He was just a person to talk to on the street. Okay, so he said he wasn't telling, but yo, there's about to be a shootout at 4 o'clock. I don't know who's gonna do it, but there's gonna be, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's how y'all look at that one. He'll point you in the right direction. Ain't that must be some Brooklyn shit? Because wasn't Glaze doing that shit too, pointing the police in the right direction? You know what I'm saying? But they don't call it snitching. They don't call that snitching if you're not writing the statement. So we can't say that. You're pointing the police in the right direction. This is what the cops say. He'll point you in the right direction. This is what he said about Quaterfield. This is what he said about Quaterfield. A man that kidnapped somebody's son allegedly, got some money off the son, threw a gun in somebody's mouth, allegedly have a couple of homicides, and this is what he had to say. Points you in the right direction. Says more Takaro Kusan. As long as it didn't affect him or anybody he was working with. So definitely the competition was off the map. You know what I'm saying? Anything he had issues with, if he didn't care about you, you was done. You was done, son. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. It's a factory. This is a factory. That's called dry snitching. Yo, I know I give it to my competition. Yo, such and such. There might be a shootout at 4 o'clock. I'm not too sure, but you know, there's things I'm hearing. Point you in the right direction. I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about Glaze. I'm talking about some shit that they say Glaze was doing. Dry snitching. Pointing the police in the right direction. I'm talking about Quaterfield, Ocean Hill, Brownsville. Y'all saying that the guy who allegedly killed him is OG Nuke that was on Queen's Flip. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about that. Donnie Smallwood, the Wild Bunch. Ocean Hill, Brownsville, the Hill. Y'all may know a rap group called MOP. What it do? We here to build it. Where Brooklyn at? You heard? He points in the right direction. I'm just trying to narrate the narration. Says the mortal, as long as it didn't affect him or anybody he fucked with. So basically, you would never know that he gave up some information because he was never telling on niggas he was around. You best believe there's some good niggas from Rockefeller that's locked up for some homicides or some guns or some attempts. Do not get it twisted. Do not get it misconstrued. Telling is telling, no matter how light the police try to keep it. You know what I'm saying? Salutations. Salute from downtown Brooklyn. Where Brooklyn at, bro? Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at, bro? So now I heard somebody try to say that Nuke was telling, right? Y'all said Nuke was telling. That's what somebody said last night. But according to this Newsday, 1987, they said the guy that allegedly he killed was telling. So that doesn't count then. That flag can't count if you're saying he told. I didn't get to that part yet. But please tell me, how does that count if he killed somebody? He killed somebody, and allegedly they trying to say he told on the dude that somebody else that was following the nigga. We gonna get to that part, but how does that count as telling? If you running with a rat, you no good. Y'all played the same dirty game, bro. Where Brooklyn at, bro? Where the hell is Brooklyn at from the hill? So y'all can never call OG Nuke a rat. Divine, you can't call him a rat. The guy, the man that they said he killed, they said he was pointing the police in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? Like I said in my show earlier, one thing about Brooklyn niggas, you gotta understand there gonna be some dirty shit. They don't have clean sheets. They either tied their mother up, grandmother up, dudes involved the churches, they involved the order boys. Brooklyn niggas don't count when it comes to integrity. Principles, morals, and all that shit. That shit don't count in Brooklyn niggas. They done did the worst. You know what I'm saying? So you cannot sit here and come on the platform and call OG Nuke a rat when allegedly he killed the nigga that was killing niggas, shooting niggas, kidnapping kids, and he was pointing the police in the right direction to the competition. Come on, man. Where Brooklyn at, man? Why do you allow dudes to go on these platforms and do this? But I fuck with Rudy Lowe, so this is not directed towards Rudy Lowe. Not at all. Because Rudy Lowe's situation was some jail shit. That was some jail shit. He just brought this into play, you know what I'm saying? I fuck with the low lives, you heard? I fuck with them. Yeah. Jersey in the building, man. In the course of the content, I check it. But this, I think more or less, this is what Rudy Lowe was talking about when he touched on this with Divine. I'm just trying to be fair. Be fair in my in my little journalism thing. Quaterfield was so much playing with the police before whatever went down with him. We're gonna get there. He wasn't a drug user. In the course of these contacts that the detective came, as long as it didn't affect him, in the course of these contacts, the detectives got to know Baker, got a feeling that there was something about him that set him apart from others in that era. He wasn't a drug user. He didn't use alcohol. He took good care of himself, Shield says. If you wronged anybody in his family or anybody he cared for, you got a problem, kids said. Young kids looked up to him because he had that image. He was small in structure, but as they put it on the street, he had a big heart. Shout out to Prospect Plaza. They used to be there. Shout out to Prospect Plaza. We're in the era. Prospect Plaza. Shout out to Prospect Plaza, man. Shills tell a story to illustrate the street ethos of heart, a story that evoked the casual violence of crack world culture. Baker was driving down Saratoga Avenue one day and some said blood clot, star clots. Power some Bebos, you know what I'm saying? You hear me? Or some shower posses, just trying to give it out the feeling. Opened up his car door and they shot him right through the wrist. Said Shields, we heard about it and put out the word we were looking to talk to him. He comes in the station house and he had a hole right through his wrist. So I said, so did you go to the hospital? He said, yeah, I went to the hospital, but I had to wait too long, so I walked out. They questioned him about the Rastafarians gunning for him, competition between Brooklyn-born crack queens and Caribbean immigrant gangs is rampant. He said they got the wrong guy. It was a mistake, which was total bull. I said, are we going to find the body someplace? He said, no, they paid me. They gave me $10,000, so I'm going to forget the whole thing. The quality of heart of something Baker casually prided himself for. So think about this. He gets shot, leave the hospital, go straight to the police station to talk to a detective. You know what I'm saying? Tell him, the Rosses hit me, but they gave me 10 racks not to tell on them in the police station. So this cop is his boy. Yeah, this is dirty. The streets is dirty, man. Where Brooklyn at, man? You Brooklyn niggas need to explain this one. He went to the police station because he couldn't wait no longer in the hospital. No disrespect to Quaterfield. To sit at the hospital and tell them the Rostas gave me 10,000, not to tell them at the police station though. He at the police station though. That's like Alpo. Alpo got shot. And the fuck was you riding to the police station for? You niggas love running the police, man. The quality of heart was something Baker casually prided himself on. More than money and gold. Once Sergeant Shields ran into Baker on South Avenue and kidded him about the jewelry he was wearing. I asked him if he wasn't worried about walking around the street with that jewelry on. He told me nobody's got the heart to take it from him. His reputation for a big heart also made him a big target, Shields says. If you could, step on Baker and get away with it. You had more heart than he did. This is a cop telling this story. Actually, this is a police officer telling the story. It's a big status thing. Baker was like a trophy out there on the street. And so Shields and Holly were surprised last Thanksgiving when he found out Baker had been shot dead, had become someone's trophy. What surprised them was the degree of emotion he felt. The cops was emotional that this guy died. You know what I'm saying? The police, homicide detectives, not the drug cops, not TNT, not no task force. Homicide detectives. We walked in the police, we called Shields, and they said to us, do you know a fellow by James Baker? They didn't know who Baker was. I said, what's the problem? He says, I think he got 5 bullet holes in him. So I went over and identified the body. Shields says it was very strange. It was very traumatic for him, says Croissant of Shields, to see Baker lying there because he was like not a friend, but it was a mutual relationship of some part. So basically, Quaterfield got cool with the cops. Strange to see him all shot up, says Shields. Who did get the trophy that Baker represented? The initial investigation by the Brooklyn South Homicide Squad Detective Al Katche and Precinct Detective Don Gorogi developed 2 promising lines of inquiry. They discovered that Baker had more than one enemy. In addition to Donnie Smallwood, there was another crack predicate known in the street as Pretty Rob, who was said to be gunning for him. According to an informant, Pretty Rob was distressed over a little ploy Baker had pulled on him one night. Instead of handing him the usual 7,000 wrapped in newspaper as payment for a supply of crack, Baker gave Pretty Rob a package consisting of nothing but newspaper. When Pretty Rob returned to complain, Baker claimed there had been cash in there when he handed it over. Pretty Rob was trying to rip him off. Katche and Gorogi heard that Pretty Rob had put a contract out on Baker over that matter. But there was also talk that Donnie Smallwood had a contract on Baker. Complicating matters further was the fact that Baker had been shot on Thanksgiving Eve by 2 separate individuals at different locations. This is crazy. That's how bad they wanted. He's playing too many games. He was hit at 2 different locations, you heard? This is some Brooklyn shit. This is cash in Brooklyn. Even Brooklyn niggas getting money is still grimy, son. They make this drug shit sound even more grimy. I thought, well, Alpo the rich is grimy. This is grimy. Who passes a nigga a thing full of newspapers talking about, I need $7,000 worth of drugs at that time? So he said he had 7 racks. He passed a nigga 7,000 newspapers. He come back and press him on his 7 racks. He telling him like, yo son, it was 7 racks in there. What you trying to do? You know what I'm saying? All type of hits was on him. Katche heard that Pretty Rob had put a contract on Baker over the matter in Donnie Smallwood. The way it happened was that Baker was tending to business in one of his crack places when he heard the beeper go off, indicating it was time to resupply another location. As he emerged and strode towards the Mercedes-Benz, a man with a silver gun approached him and began firing morality. One shot hit him in the chest. At this point, Anthony Jennings, a young man with an explosive temper, known in the streets as Nuke, came forward and began acting like a good Samaritan. He caught Baker before he hit the ground. He helped him in the passenger seat of the Mercedes-Benz, got in his driver's seat, and told people he was going to rush Baker to the hospital. When someone tried to get him in the back seat to go along, Nuke yelled at him, "Get out of here, I'll take care of this." What he meant by "I'll take care" became the crux of the case, because 2 hours after Nuke drove off, the Mercedes-Benz was found parked on the side street near the hospital. It was Baker's body, dead body, and in his body were 4 more bullet holes which had been fired into his head and neck at close range. Who fired those shots? In their initial investigation, Catchy and Gregory focused on this good Samaritan who just happened to be standing by when the first gunman shot Baker. After all, Nuke was a suspect in another murder, was known to have a reputation for reckless violence, and he was Donnie Smallwood's godson. Catchy and Gregory put the word out on the street that they were looking for Nuke. To their surprise, they got a call from Nuke's aunt, who told them Nuke would meet the detectives at a parking lot. Then Nuke agreed to meet us to make a statement. Nuke agreed to make a statement at the precinct house. It was very strange, Cash recalls. The guy is a cold-blooded killer, but there he was breaking down and crying like a baby in the middle of giving us his version of how Baker died. This is what they said Nuke was doing behind the glass in the homicide investigation at the tables. Salute. In his version of events, Nuke betrayed himself as Baker's loyal friend. His only thought was to get him to the hospital as soon as possible. Catchy recalls Nuke's performance as a masterpiece of method acting. He was going on about how he was driving off. Baker grabbed his hand and said, "I'm not gonna make it." And Nuke was holding his hand and telling him, "Hold on, man." And then how he was coming up to the hospital gate, he could hear him suddenly gasping for his breath and then shivering, and he died holding Nuke's hand. We're Brooklyn now. That's when Nuke started crying. He started really crying. The tears was rolling down his face. The homicide cries are different from regular cries because you're not really trying to go to jail. You bring those shits back. When homicide case really got you, or you think they got you, you bring back the grandma cries, the whipping joints. Don't just start crying. I did do that. I'm sorry. Those are the cries you give. Those are the cries. Those are the homicide cries back there. I don't know. I wasn't a killer. I didn't run with killers. I didn't attempt to kill nobody back in the day. I just heard about the cries. It's a different type of cry. Sorry. All that sorry shit I don't play. So, I'm sorry. Rest in peace to Quaterfield, though. You know what I'm saying? Quaterfield. Well, no, some fucked up shit, though. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So, in the Virgin events, portrayed some big friend, started crying ferociously. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Catchy recalls performance is a masterpiece, a Grammy Oscar film. Grabbed his hand with a bone, telling him, "Hold on, man," and then how he was coming up. Okay, grabbed his hand. "I'm not gonna make it." And Nuke was holding his hand, telling him, "Hold on, man." And then how he was coming up the hospital gate, you could hear him suddenly grasping for breath and then shivering. And he was died holding Nuke's hand. That's when Nuke started crying and really crying, and tears rolling down his face. And listen, I know those cries. They had to stop and calm him down. It ain't funny, but those are the real cries. Those are the cries. Listen, nigga, don't get mad at me. Get mad at the crying. It's what the cop said. Mad at the cop. Mad at that nigga. You know what I'm saying? It's what he said. So the crying ferociously. Rose to your feet. And I had to calm me down. All that killer shit flew out the window. I feel you. You felt you was going to jail. You know what I'm saying? So now, after he composed himself, Nuke continued with his account of his last moments with Baker. And he proceeded to add a final twist that many ultimately proved to have been his undoing. He claimed that he approached the hospital gates with the apparently dead Baker. He saw police cars with flashing lights and panicked. He didn't want to make an appearance before the cops with the newly dead body on his hands, which you know what I'm saying. So he did was pull over and park on the side street, get out, and head back towards the neighborhood. But he said, as he was making his grief-stricken exit from the Mercedes-Benz, his grief-stricken, he saw one he knew. Approaching the car, it was one of Baker's associates. The man had followed the Mercedes-Benz in an old 1988, parked it down the block, and now he was headed towards it. The friend, Quaterfield's friend. Bullets marks in the car indicated that the 4 shots in Baker's face and neck were fired while he was in the passenger seat. New version made it appear that he left the scene just as the man from the old 98, who perhaps didn't think Baker was dead, was about to administer the coup de grace in effect. Nuke was accusing that man of murder. So I guess this is what they said Nuke told on. Nuke basically said, Duke in the 98 Oldsmobile, I know who son is. I got out the car, he went on the block, he smoked the nigga. So I guess this is what they're saying that he told on Quaterfield. He told on son who allegedly, he's saying that son killed Quaterfield. So he wrote a statement. This is what he told the police. This is what the police is saying, New York Times. Listen, don't get mad at me. Don't make blogs about me. Don't go on, yo, niggas hating now. I'm going to change some fight for the kids. We get it. But that time in your life, you wrote this fucking statement, nigga. You know what I'm saying? It's what it says. Deal with it. Move on. Tell the kids. Keep telling the kids, find some legal shit to do, because when shit get real and you're gonna get 30 years, you're gonna fucking tell. And be honest, you're gonna tell like I told. I wrote a fucking statement. You gotta be honest with them niggas. You gotta learn to be honest. Niggas gotta stop trying to be real niggas. Yo, the moral of the story is you don't want to tell on your friends. So find some legal shit to do. No disrespect to OG Nuke, the OG Nuke. You know what I'm saying? Killer, regardless. That's what it said. You told the nigga in 98, trying to get away. But the cop went to the New York Times. And I'm going to even throw allegedly on this shit. Allegedly. Detective Catchy and Gregory were skeptical of Nuke's so suspicious of the finger he was pointing at the man in the Oldsmobile. You dirty motherfucker. That's what they said. You dirty motherfucker. You're lying. That nigga in the Oldsmobile ain't do that shit. You did that shit, nigga. So my whole thing is, why do we get mad when dudes call you a rat? I don't get it. You told her, you smoked the nigga, you had a reason to kill a nigga. He kidnapped your god brother. You know what I'm saying? You had a reason to get rid of this nigga. He threw a gun in your godfather's mouth. So you had all the reasons in the world, all the cosigns in the world to smoke this nigga. You had all the cheap, I understand you go to jail, but that's when that Brooklyn grimy shit come out. Don't do crime with niggas from Brooklyn, bro. Say from Brooklyn. Shout out to bro, I love you niggas, but you niggas some grind buckets. So niggas are sacrificing soft nigga for a dime, you know what I'm saying? Cause I don't get it. You had a reason to smoke this nigga. He snatched up your god brother. Then you gonna say Zeke talking crazy, but it's the facts. And y'all niggas is trying to make him a real nigga. He's still a real nigga, right? But be honest in the whole story. Yo, I was smoking niggas, I was busting guns, but when it came time when the police had me, the white man had me, I was scared. I started crying ferociously. Snot was coming down my nose. I was a little scared. And I said a nigga did it. He's not gonna like this. He's not gonna like this, bro. And I'm not doing this to disrespect him. But this is what the police said. And I'm gonna throw allegedly on this, bro. For all you niggas, for all you dudes that want to shoot, there's consequences to shoot. I respect what he's doing with the kids. I just hope that you're telling the kids, Don't do something that when you finally get caught, reality sets in. Do not. You want to cry. You want to point a finger. You want to, you know what I'm saying? We get it. You had a reason to want to kill Donnie, though, bro. You had all the reasons to want to kill that Donnie, but Quaterfield. You had all the reasons, bro. We respect the cosign. If you gonna do 30 years, nigga, do 30 years for damn, son. He kidnapped my god brother. So the nigga he was violating. He threw a gun in his son's face. Gun in mouth. Yo, son, the nigga put a spy on the block. He thought shit was sweet. You have all the reasons in the world, bro. But I get it. You want to get around it. Shout out to Brooklyn, though. Again, don't go live tomorrow, but boom, I got nothing to do with Divine doing. I don't even know a nigga named. I don't even know the Divine. I just heard. I was doing this because I was doing this on the strength of because found to be Quaterfield was playing with the police. Is it co-signable that you actually, when you did say somebody else killed him like his man, or something in the Oldsmobile, do you get the pass? But who cares with the pass? You did 30 years. The hood loves you, bro. So it's just, it is what it is. But please tell the kids that shoot them up, bang bangs, all fun and dandy until they got you behind the police. This is the police talking about you. 1980s, this is the police, bro. This ain't me. The police. Bendito. This is crazy. They're gonna get mad at me. Yo, Zeke Clifford. Yo, niggas see Black Box. Yo, niggas see Raleigh. This is the police saying this in the New York Times, bro. They said that you was crying, snapping, they did all this crazy shit. You was crying, you had to calm you down. You giving names. Yo, nigga, over the bill, up in the car. Like, my nigga, you have all the reasons in the world to go, man, fuck this nigga Quaterfield, man. Nigga volleyed, man. And you probably got to follow through team for that shit, bro. You went all the way and did all that time for nothing. To try to prove like you ain't smoking, nigga. You have all the reason in the world to smoke a nigga, bro. You have all the reason in the world to want to kill that nigga. And the only reason why niggas probably didn't even move on you up north over that shit was because niggas knew he was telling on other shit. Like, fuck Quaterfield. He's a rat anyway. Respect the game, man. Your cloth was saved. But this is what the police were saying, bro. Detective Catchy and Garagi was skeptical of Nuke's sob story. Story was suspicious as hell. The finger he was pointing at the man in the Oldsmobile. But they was unable to locate the man to get his vision. They had a lead to identify the first shooter, the man with the silver gun, but he had gone to the ground too. I guess he done got smoked, you know what I'm saying? The first one. At this point, Garagi was required to shift his attention to the other precinct level cases. Catchy had other murders to solve. The Baker investigation stalled until March on the 25th of that dirty month. Where my Brooklyn niggas is at? Where my nigga Brooklyn niggas. So y'all knew when y'all thought, when y'all niggas thought the low life nigga was losing his mind, he was telling with facts. It's factory, it's the El Factory. El Facto? Bendito? Shout out to Rudy Lowe, man. Y'all tried to slander Rudy Lowe's name. That's what the police is saying in the New York Times. The police is saying this, bro. So I'm pretty sure this is somebody's discovery. So on late March, on the 25th of the month, there was a double execution on the hill, Brownsville. You hear me? Shout out to Rudy Lowe, man. They tried to slander him. Oh, Rudy this and Rudy that, and yo, boom, boom, boom. But this is the facts. This ain't even the case. This is the police talking, man. Shout out to Ralph Lowe, man. On the 25th of that month, there was a double execution on the hill. 2 crack people shot down within 2 hours and within 3 blocks of each other. Word on the street was the dead man had caused Donnie Smallwood's crew the Wild Bunch. In some transactions or other, word on the street was that the Wild Bunch would get away with murder. The state of affairs convinced the police that the district attorney office that extraordinary action was called for Inspector Passacia to John pursued a homicide specialist in the Brooklyn District Attorney Office and showed him a case file on 11 unsolved murders suspected of being linked to the Wild Ones. Pursuer got permission from the Brooklyn District Attorney Office to assign two experienced prosecutors. Y'all know him, Joseph Hawkins, you killer niggas from Brooklyn, and y'all niggas know Robert Silverstein to work with the Castilla Task Force. The team set up shop in Brooklyn's North Homicide Office that began to creating a voluminous card file on these cases, cross-indexing names found common to previously separate precinct-level investigations, tracing the movement of suspects, making charts of weapons, ballistic traces. They did a map of killing zone on the hill showing the locations of the homicides. Then the task force hit the streets to track down reluctant witnesses and suspects gone to the ground, working closely with the two prosecutors. The police was able to offer immunity to fearful witnesses. I was scared, nigga. Scared. Stay out of Brooklyn, bro. Stay out of Brooklyn, you heard? Stay out of Brooklyn. Brooklyn is dirty, it's grimy. Brooklyn niggas is grimy. If you ain't from Brooklyn, stay out of Brooklyn, bro. You ain't got no business in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying, you hear me? Shout out to Brooklyn. I fuck my Brooklyn niggas. I'm just telling you other niggas. Stay out of Brooklyn. If you ain't in gentrified Brooklyn, stay off from side blocks. You want Brownsville, East Brownsville. Don't try to be down. These niggas is ruthless. Then the task force hit the streets to track down reluctant witnesses and suspects gone to the ground. They succeeded in breaking open a 3-year-old murder case that linked usually well-isolated Donnie Smallwood to a hands-on role in murder. Witnesses who had been afraid to testify before they persuaded to tell the story of the 1984 death of James Fizzo Carter to a grand jury. According to the account, Fizzo had been suspected in holding up Wild Bunch crack locations, was surrounded on Ralph Avenue by Smallwood and several members of his crew. But them that don't know what crew was back then, posse, clique. He got surrounded by some black and Latino individuals most likely, and it got a little violent on Ralph Avenue, probably by the liquor store. We don't know, by the park by St. Mark's. I don't know, or by Atlantic Avenue. Just know he got caught up on Ralph Avenue. Don't get it twisted. Do not get it twisted. It wasn't playing no game. This is Brooklyn niggas getting money. This wasn't no, this isn't Jose Marquez or Perez getting no bread, Fred. But Fizzo was knocked off the count. Basically, they caught him slipping, going to the liquor store probably going to White Castles or walking through by Country Kitchens. You know how dudes try to cut through and hit Ralph Avenue coming from Country Kitchens on Atlantic. Y'all know the location. This is Brooklyn, man. You know Country Kitchens used to be owned by Buckley's family. So half of you fools don't even know that though. But the prosecution charges that Smallwood, his godson Nuke, the notorious Nuke, and the third person began beating Carter with baseball bats and then stood back and watched as another gang member shot him 3 times to finish him off. Kenneth J. Schreiber, a partner in the law firm representing Smallwood, said Smallwood was categorically denied being involved in that murder or any other. He was on the street at the time when a third party who had a grievance with the deceased fired at him. Schreiber said Smallwood was categorically denied any involvement in the drug trade. He's active sponsor in different youth groups and athletic groups. Schreiber says he makes his living owning retail businesses. I bet. Shortly after the task force witnesses got to testify about another man's murder, which the then 18-year-old godson was alleged to have committed on his own. This one didn't have anything to do with crack, but it did illustrate the explosive temper of Nuke, his street name. He was Nucleus. He was a ticking time bomb. You couldn't stop Nuke. He was dangerous in these dirty streets. These dirty, dangerous Brooklyn nigga. I won't say dirty like a dirty. They don't take no showers from niggas that once you get them mad, you're dead. They say you're dead, my nigga. Shout out to Brooklyn though, bro. Shout out to Brooklyn, man. This shit sound crazy, man. Shortly thereafter, that's what was intensified against another murder, which then 18-year-old godson, he was 18, was alleged had committed on his own, whatever. The victim, according to detectives, made the mistake of irritating Nuke at a party. Probably stepped on the sneakers, bumped him, looking too long, and he killed the nigga, it says. He dissed him. Sergeant Croissant said, using the street term for acting disrespectful. That's what niggas was dying in the club for simple shit like bumping and not saying, yo, my bad, Duke. Niggas was blowing your face off. You was dying on the spot. You stepped in my brand new white on white Adidas, you was dead, my nigga. This is the era of that shit. Do not get it twisted, don't get it misconstrued. Oh. He dissed him, using the street term for acting disrespectfully. It was over jewelry. Play with nigga jewels? You down with that shit. Now you snatch the right nigga jewels. Nigga smoked the shit out of you. What's wrong with you dudes? Explains he disrespected his jewelry, my nigga. He disrespected him as an individual. You bum ass. What do you say? You bum ass nigga. You 10-karat gold chains, all this other shit. Because if he ain't snatched a chain, he was disrespecting the jewels. There's nothing worse than saying you got hollow chains on a canal street, you bum ass nigga, you ain't rich, and all this other sucker MC shit. That's the business he was giving the nigga. This is what the police were saying, from the police accounts. There was an argument over this, and later, according to Sergeant Shields, Nuke pulled out his gun and bam, boom, bop, toward the moon. He popped. The task force also knew that Nuke was wanted in New Jersey. On attempt murder charges because of an altercation in which he allegedly pulled out a Uzi. Machine gun, so it fired it at a police officer. Only reason that the cop was alive because the Uzi jammed, Shield says. That cop ought to go to church every day and give thanks. It wasn't until late in the game that the task force pinned the Baker's murder on Nuke. The break came when they managed to track down the exclusive man in the O's 98, the cut dog. They caught Duke with the cut dog. You know, he telling, fuck that, I ain't catch that. I ain't smoked the nigga Nuke did. You know what he did? He wrote a direct statement on Nuke. Hold on, flag on the play. I didn't do this shit. Nuke did it. Down, man, the man Nuke had suggested put the 4 shots in Baker's head and neck. The man whose name is what the hell, at the request of the police, was reluctant to cooperate with the detectives at first. Then they confronted him with Nuke's version. He was shocked, Baker said. Shocked. Baker, he said, had been his friend. It made him furious to be accused of killing Baker in a cowardly fashion. At this point, he agreed to give him the version of what really happened, which was that he was indeed following the Benz, bearing Nuke and the bleeding Baker as they drove away on the site of the original shooting, that he was behind the car as he approached the hospital, that he saw it slow down and then he heard shots. Saw the whole car shake with each report. Only then did Nuke park the car and make his exit. Based on that testimony and that of cooperating witness, the grand jury indicted Anthony Jensen the murders of James Baker, the man with the silver gun who fired at Baker and hit him in the chest, was identified as Lorenzo Gillespie, said by detectives to be an associate of Smallwood and the Wild Bunch. Gillespie was located and was also indicted. Both Jennings and Gillespie have pleaded not guilty to all charges. One key question that remains for the police prosecution is the nature of Nuke's role in the killing. The indictment does not charge Donnie Smallwood with ordering the hit, so was Nuke in on it from the start? Was he acting in concert with Gillespie, who was he just hanging around on the street where it happened and seized the opportunity to finish off a wounded rival and claim his heart as a trophy? Sergeant Shields and Croissant are certain Nuke was in on it from the start, but John Basunda of the district attorney office is not so sure. The caution intrigues him. I think about it a lot, he says. But Basunda has to prove to the jury when the case comes to trial is that Nuke fired the 4 shots in the car. Whatever degree of premeditation it was in this case, it seems that the allegedly trigger happy actions of the Godson helped bring down the Godfather, creating a critical mass of murders that brought a critical mass of investigative effort down on Smallwood's head. The arrest came on Friday afternoon in July. Donnie Smallwood didn't know it was coming. We had him on surveillance that day. Shields recorded, but we lost him on Atlantic Avenue, and Detective Jerry Holly said maybe they went to Junior's for lunch. Junior's is downtown Brooklyn. Let's give it a shot. As we was driving down Flatbush Avenue, we seen them parked by a pawn shop. According to Detective Donnie Smallwood, was there to engage in the kind of equipment act of recruitment that led the police to make him a top priority target. He was in the pawn shop with a young protege he enlisted buying him gold. We grabbed him when he came out and we told him, you're arrested for the murder in the second degree on an indictment warrant. It was gratifying telling him that. We all stood there and watched the expression on his dirty ass face as he was upset. He could see it like the world came to an end. You know he's trying, like mine is Russian, trying to think of which murder. You know what I'm saying? Found on Donnie Smallwood's person the day of his arrest was a block of tickets to a Madison Square Garden concert, another Wild Bunch outing. He wouldn't get to attend. Shortly after Labor Day, however, Smallwood posted a $100,000 bill and is back in the street awaiting trial. Sponsoring Wild Bunch benefits was defense. Police say the arrest of Donnie Smallwood and his godson and their associates hasn't destroyed the Wild Bunch. Crack business continues as usual in the usual places, police say, but it has dampened the aurora of visibility the crew name once possessed. Dimmed the magic cliched the blue and white Wild Bunch t-shirts and warm-up jackets once well worn on the streets. Sergeant Shields tells the story to illustrate the change about a one-time Wild Bunch associate known as Carter Green, who was gunned down in his bedroom not long after the Smallwood arrest. I was speaking to someone else that night who was a member of the Wild Bunch, Shields recalls, and I said to him, it's a shame I seen Carter Green and he was lying on his bed and his Wild Bunch jacket was covered all with blood. And the guy says to me, I took my Wild Bunch jacket and buried it in my closet. It's that bad on the street, Shields asked him. It's not that good, you heard? Now, I'm gonna keep it all 100 with you, man. This might have been one of the realest things I've read in a long time. 1987. What I'm gonna say is, it's like, find something legal to do, man. I can say what I want to say, but we hear what the cops are saying. Allegations, allegedly, they told this in the New York Times, 1987. That's what they're saying Nuke told on, I guess. They said that he said something with the cut dog, 98 old. That's their politics. Nuke has moved on. He's supporting the kids. Just tell the kids at the end of the day, don't put yourself in situations that you're gonna regret when you're sitting behind that glass door for homicides. You know what I'm saying? This is no disrespect. This is no disrespect. This is actually being respectful. I was doing a story on Donnie. But it also seems fair change, no robbery, that Donnie was doing a little cooperating himself, plus a bunch of other dudes. This dirty Brooklyn shit, you know what I'm saying? We get it, we understand it. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to Brooklyn, though. Dirty Harlem shit, output. Look, AZ. Just dirty street shit. You know what? Dirty New York street shit. Even the most honorable ain't the most honorable. We give accolades to all the wrong ones, and then we wonder why the streets is fucked up. know what I'm saying? It's facts. I did one on that though. I did one on that. Check out Zeke Black, ABG Kato, OG Kato. Check that out on YouTube. Put that in. Zeke Black interviews OG Kato. He talk about the folk war with ABGs and the crime family in East New York. Yeah, check it out, bro. But I'll do one on it new. I salute. I don't sense to salute. You know what I'm saying? This was a newspaper article about the New York Times. This is a Zeke Black freestyle. New York Times party people. 1987. You see the dates. Y'all can Google. You see? So, everything Spanish in Brooklyn wasn't getting all the money. Ain't been in the crack ever back then. There's some African American. Shout out to the Wild Punch. You know what I'm saying? It's African Americans that was doing it. He was, other than hustling, he had softball teams. He did things for the youth. He had retail stores. So he just wasn't hustling to buy cars, but he was like in his 30s when he was in the game. Whew. I appreciate everybody that just pulled up for this. I appreciate everybody that pulled up for this. This isn't, but this is what, so y'all don't think that Rudy Lowe's bugging out. That's what happened. I don't know what the statement actually said, but this is what the police is saying, that Nuke told on. He went and said somebody to cut dog, and suddenly didn't catch the body, so someone turned on him. But in the long run, they saying Quaterfield was pointing the police in the right direction, certain situations. So it's a whole bunch of telling, a whole bunch of unloyal shit, kidnapping kids, and you know what I'm saying? So it's just a whole bunch of nonsense, man. But nobody wants to get caught and go to jail. So we can't sit there and go, well, no, why you hold it down for? Because nobody wants to go to jail. So, hey, fuck them niggas. You want to go to sucker nigga, you get it too. So, you know what I'm saying? That's how the ball game go down back then. Shout out to Brooklyn. Shout out to Browns with East New York. Best stop, do or die. This is all part of the Streets of Washington series. You know, I did the YG, Teflon Dawn. A bunch of shit we doing. We moving here. New York City, the cloth. Bring the cloth back. But shout out to OG Nuke, man. He doing the right thing. Check out Queen's Flip content. He got mad interviews on there where he actually made repent. He's living his life. He's saving kids. Follow him, OG Nuke. He on, you know what I'm saying? He on IG, what? So now y'all don't think that this guy, Rudy Lowe, was bugging out. He did say something. This is what the police said. This is the police telling the New York Times that. This is what the police said, the cop. Y'all know the police names. Y'all know these cops. Y'all know that was outside. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all all for pulling up. I got some more of these joints coming. Definitely shout out to the 90s. I got the literature. I got some receipts. Shout out to P. Unstricken Mentality. Unstricken Mentality. Shout out to Push That Night. God to King, Jose, Iced Out, DJ Eminescence out there in the atmosphere. You up? Yeah. Check out to my man AD, Net Stars, this guy name, man. I keep forgetting this guy name. Hold on one second. Shout out to my man G-Dub Quinn. Go follow G-Dub Quinn. That's my guy. He let me on this platform. Shout out to G-Dub Quinn. You know what I'm saying? Go follow him. There was a lot of pointing police in the right direction of homicides going on for Brooklyn cats. I guess Brooklyn, that's how Brooklyn D's was solving these cases. The street niggas was actually pointing them in the right direction. Yo, go to 4D. The guns in it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I heard. You know what I'm saying? This guy, man. Shout out to Wise Building the Building. Shout out to Brooklyn. Shout out to Fort Greene, Brooklyn. Shout out, Killer B, Albany Projects. You know what I'm saying? Family's fam. You know what I'm saying? Family ain't family no more. You know what I'm saying? Family ain't family no more. I'm saying? Shout out to my man Rod Clip. He's been in Baltimore for 3 years. That's in projects. St. Charles got an award. Looking for the hospital out there in Beatmore. Zeke Black is out of here, man. You know what I'm saying? The shoots, you know what I'm saying? It was a slander campaign. I said this a couple of days ago. I was going to do the boom, boom. So listen, Quaterfield was pointing police in the right direction. He wasn't giving names, but he was giving up, you know what I'm saying, homicide these. This wasn't drug guys. These was homicide detectives that he had a friendship with. Even when they said when he died, they wanted to cry. So, you know what I'm saying? It's a dirty game. Then they see what they did with Nuke, with the old bill, and you know what I'm saying? We're going to say, yo, Joe, there's some telling in there, but the first time I heard of Nuke was in one of those books about the Supreme Team and all that other shit, and the link with Viola, Nichols, Fat Cat Sister. With that being said, man, I salute y'all, man. Thank you for pulling up. Classic New York shit, New York, New York. Shout out to East Harlem, Spanish Harlem, Washington Projects, Lexington Projects. My man Ty Bless, my man Jay Quest. Good friends of mine, the PT 131 crew. Shout out to the 050 China Blend Movement. They in the building. Shout out to Crown Heights, man. Rudy Low, the Low Lives. You know what I'm saying? Part of the culture. You got to keep the culture going. You know what I'm saying? That became a cultural thing. Shout out to Brooklyn. Decepticons, Autobots, the Ugg Mugs, the Mayos, and a host of others. That's what my man ordered from some of the projects. Marcus Garvey Village. The whole Rockaway, from Tilden to Howard. Projects, housing complexes. You understand what I'm saying? Find something legal to do, man. That newspaper article was written in 1987. It involved names in Brooklyn, people's fathers that's murdered, grandfathers that's dead. The cloth. We're not here to slander, we're just here to talk about history. And that's a part of our history. Don't forget the liquor store on Eastern Parkway. Shout out to Brooklyn Ice. They got the liquor store over there. They got the weed thing. Hold on. Let me tell you exactly where it's at. Tell them Zeke Black sent you. Tell them Zeke Black sent you. May not get a discount though, but tell them Zeke Black sent you. Brooklyn Ice, you in the building, man? Hold on. He got the he's known as Fly Guy, Ice, my nigga Ice. They got the liquor store right here in Eastern Parkway. Does this look familiar? That's Famo right there. That's the family right there. That's Ice. That's family. You see the liquor store right there? That's man Ice. Y'all see him? Yes. Crown Heights in the building. You see my man? Eastern Parkway. I believe he's on Eastern Parkway. See the liquor store. It's 1547 Eastern Parkway, the corner of Saratoga Avenue. Look, it's family right there. It's family. Go in the store, go, yo, you see him? Yo, Z Black sip. He gonna start laughing. They got the liquor store. They just opened it up. The Hill Liquor Store, 1547 Eastern Parkway. This is where it's at. That's Brooklyn Ice with the black hat. That's the liquor store. Go support his black business. He says he has a piece in it. That's Famo. You know what I'm saying? Some Z Black sent you, man. He also got the trendy shop. I don't know where the hell that's at, but it's somewhere in Brooklyn. They got the trendy spots with the gems. I don't know exactly what street it's on, but definitely go support the family. Rest in peace to Buff. You heard? You know what I'm saying? H Money Bags team, you know, the team is in the building. They're there for the support. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? H Money Bags, the Brooklyn one, not the one from Queens. You know, Marcy, Hove, Rock Nation. You heard? Yeah, they got the liquor store. See, it was popping. They had the liquor store grand opening. It's on the hill, Ocean Hill, Brownsville, I guess, from Saratoga, Eastern Parkway. So Support the people. It's black business. My people. It's family. Go in there and go. You see, go Book of Nice. Zeke Black sent me. Man, that could be, you may show your love. Boy, Zeke Black's my man. It's famo. That's famo, son. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted. I'm just not a nigga talking online. You know what I'm saying? I'm family. Family. That's it. I'm famo. Shout out to my man Book of Nice, man. He didn't tune with the family, man. Shout out to Crown Heights, man. You in Brooklyn, go to the liquor store, you see Ice. You gotta see him. No other niggas don't know me. Go see Ice. Zeke Black sent me. Who? Zeke Black is with Albany up top? Yeah, that's family, son. He got the trendy spot too. You know what I'm saying? We just do what we do. We support each other. You heard Green Eye Salute. It's popping. It's popping. It's not, you know what I'm saying? We just show unconditional love here. 050 trying to bring movements in the building. I just read the situation. So when Divine said what he said about Nuke, I don't know why Nuke even came up with the situation, but that's what they said he told them. According to the police that took the report, this is what he said. He said Nuke told them that such and such in the Oldsmobile pulled up and he smoked some. That's what Nuke said. I don't know what's in the paperwork. I didn't get the transcript. The police is saying. So we can deal with the allegations, but it was in the New York Times newspaper. New York Times magazine. 1987, you heard? Shout out to the low lives, though. Rest in peace, Rumble, Decepticons. The cloth, man. The cloth. We can't forget about, you know what I'm saying? The cloth. With that being said, man, have a good night, man. You know what I'm saying? All slander ain't slander. Keep that in mind. Some niggas just hate the truth. You know what I'm saying? You got some shit on your record, you gotta keep it funky. Yo, son, this is why I was scared. The police made it like you was crying and all this crazy all that crazy shit, bro. Like, that's what gangsters is doing behind the glass? That's like the Central Park 5 shit. They wasn't killers, though. You know what I'm saying? You hear me? I expect that from the Central Park 5. Not from a nigga that this is what you do. You a high-head nigga. You got some BOs over your head, but I get it. Nobody wants to go to jail. That's respectable. So keep saving the kids, bro. Keep saving the kids, bro. Don't create this narrative to be this hot-head killer nigga. And you get behind that glass and it's a nigga in the cut, dog. And you start crying and whining. And you killed the nigga that was meant to die, bro. Because he was meant to die. And with that being said, no disrespect to Quaterfield or his family. But that was a man that he did so much foul shit. You know how that shit go. You play with 7,000. Come on, he's playing with Brooklyn niggas for 7,000. Give me come on, son. He thought y'all was soft anyway. That's how he treated y'all. I was too proud. Man, I smoked the shit out that nigga. Fuck that nigga. Cause that's back then. They was giving niggas 3.5 to 10 for bodies. Son, you they came home. Work release. Like, there was so many options to come home. There's no reason to tell on the body. There was no reason to tell on the body, bro. I don't know how many bodies you had that I calculated, but there was no need. Yo, give me that dude 5 from 10 out of here, man. Back then, 2 years, you get work release, you home. They was doing, this is before Pataki started hating on the work release shit. So it was great. Niggas are taking 3 to 6 for homicides. You got niggas that got 2, 3 bodies on their record before they finally got the bonus. With that being said, no disrespect though, but you know, I can't tell little man how you should move, how you should feel. I've been in those situations. I do salute you, doing the right thing for the kids. You move in the right direction. Just keep it funky. Don't fake a funk with a disgusting dunk, you heard? Keep it all the way funky. You know what I'm saying? I can talk big words, small words, but one thing is real, fake is fake. You know what I'm saying? Quaterfield was no good on all levels, and boom, gotta respect the game. You can't go. I'm this infamous nigga that violate niggas, kill niggas, throw guns in niggas' mouths. Yo, who smoked son on Park Ave? Yo, I can't give you a name, but such and such. I give you an AKA Mojo. You know what I'm saying? They do the rest. Who's Mojo? 3rd floor. Boom, get him. Homicide D's don't cry for you unless you engage some shit up, bro. They're not going to sit and cry for you. Homicide detectives is not going to feel sorry for you. You're not their friends, homicide D's. They only come around when it's necessary. You'll see more blue and white, so you're gonna see homicide detectives. You know what I'm saying? He pulled the Alpo move. He got shot, went to the police station. Yo, the Tabasco is gonna be 10,000. That was his man's. With that being said, I salute y'all. Have a good night. Feed the wolves. Peace to my man Jamal Saladin. Right is right, wrong is wrong, man. Follow the clubhouse, man. PM super mentality. Push that knife, seek black. Let's get me to that 1,000. I need 6 more people to follow me on clubhouse. Seek black. Get me to that 1,000. We here. Shout out to my man Felly VVS. We here. Shout out to Brooklyn. Low lives, double L. I'm not even a low life. I represent the coach. You what? Deuces.